Today, President Trump
has decided to award the Nobel Peace Prize for 2017 to
U.S. President Donald Trump threw another cryptic warning directed at North Korea that his country will use all means necessary to counter the regime's threat. At a meeting with senior military officials Thursday, he discussed a range of security issues, including Pyongyang and the Iran nuke deal. Trump emphasized Washington's ultimate goal is denuclearization of the Korean peninsula and added the U.S. will do what it must to protect itself and its allies from the Hermit Kingdom's threats. The comments seemed to resonate the tone set in his speech at the UN General Assembly, where he vowed to totally destroy North Korea if Washington was forced into action.
Today, President Trump doubled down on his ominous warning while meeting with his top generals that maybe this is the calm before the storm. Here's what he said last night.
You guys know what this represents? Well, maybe it's the calm before the storm.
What's the storm?
Could be the calm before the storm.
What storm is
We have the world's great military people in this room. I will tell you that. And we're going to have a great evening. Thank you all for coming. Thank you.
What storm, Mr. President?
You'll find out.
Give us a hint on your decision.
Thank you, everybody.
President Trump also said that he expects his top military advisors to give him a broad range of military options at a much faster pace. And it's all raising questions of whether or not the president is listening to his generals. We now turn to retired Army Lieutenant Colonel Allen West, former Republican congressman from Florida as well. Colonel West, thanks for joining us.
Good to be with you.
It feels that major decisions are on the way with respect to Iran and North Korea. It feels like these decisions perhaps will involve some pushback against Rex Tillerson's, General Mattis. And it also feels like President Trump has drawn a strong, rigid red line with respect to North Korea. Where do you think we are right now?
Well, Charles, I tell you that if you're going to have an effective foreign policy, you have to also make sure you have a credible military deterrent. And I think that's one of the important things that we need to have on the table. And I think that's some of the options that the president is looking to those military leaders from the Pentagon to be able to present. Let's understand that we're living in a very dangerous time. I know that we have been so concerned about what has happened in Las Vegas, and all of my condolences to those who have lost their lives there. But we lost 3 U.S. Army Special Forces Green Beret this week in the country of Niger due to an ambush from al-Qaeda in the Maghreb. That's an organization that has grown in North Africa, and they're starting to extend their reach in sub-Saharan Africa. Right. And we know about in Nigeria, Boko Haram. So I think the president needs to sit down and look at what I call the geographic combatant commands, the PACOM, the AFRICOM, CENTCOMs, and we need to start looking at an effective strategy that is threat-based and unfortunately move us away from this budget-based military that we have so decimated.
And by the way, I think the death toll has now gone to 4. I'm going to check on that, but I think I saw that breaking news. Colonel West, please stay with us because I want to bring in a panel now. Fred Fleitz is a former CIA analyst currently with the Center for Security Policy, and Kayleigh McEnany is a spokeswoman for the RNC. Kayleigh, let me go with you here because a lot of what we're seeing also is the mainstream media stoking the notion of infighting, of disruption, of total dismay, if you will, within the Trump campaign, Trump organization. This week, it was Tillerson versus President Trump.
Yeah, the media is stoking the narrative, as they always are. They're making false stories. We saw Rex Tillerson come out and forcefully deny that this was ever said in the form of his spokesperson after he said those comments earlier. They're creating discord. It's doing a disservice to the American people, particularly when the times are as perilous as they are now on the foreign policy front.
When President Trump tweeted that Tillerson might be wasting his time with Bomb Boy or something to that effect, does that interfere, or is it to what Colonel West was sort of alluding to? In this situation, you've got to have someone who's coming on really, really strong, particularly as you're trying to negotiate a democratic solution.
Certainly, you have to have both. And I think President Trump is being a realist when he says it doesn't appear that, Rocket Man, as he calls him, is really interested in negotiations, particularly when he's shooting off ballistic missiles at the rate he is.
Fred, the anxiety, though, the knot is getting tighter and tighter. We can feel it. We sense, I think, almost everyone, that something is going to happen very shortly. When President Trump starts to talk about doing what he must do, people don't want to hear it, but to Kayleigh's point, it seems like he is being realistic.